Let Mother sort it out if he comes round here, everybody. Welcome to the Football Ramble. Honours even in the North London derby, and Newcastle kick the crap out of the Blades. It's Monday, 25th of September. I'm Marcus Speller.
I'm Pete Donaldson.
And I'm David Cartlidge.
Happy Monday, everybody. Good to have you with us. David Cartlidge in the pod.
Welcome to the DCC, Death Club City.
I was thinking more DC's in the house, jump, jump for joy.
Well, you would.
Oh, jump, jump, rejoice.
It's a massively older song.
How dare you? You're older than me, you cheeky bugger.
I am.
Last time
I'm proud. I'm later than you today.
Yeah,
Tried to get on a line bike, only had one wheel.
Oh, my
Sorry,
goodness.
one pedal.
Is that right?
Yeah, I would have noticed the one wheel.
Okay.
Didn't notice the one pedal.
Oddly, more on limes later.
Yes.
We'll come to that. Last time, I think it was just the three of us in the pod.
Right.
Newcastle United had just let you down by losing a cup final.
That's right,
And
yes.
David was rather smug.
Yeah.
After
I don't think he was. I've never seen David in full smug mode.
No?
I'd like to.
There was some comments. I'm just saying,
When
Peter.
are you at your smuggest, David?
God, where do we even start?
between
After
morning
cooking
and
a delicious meal.
Yeah, that's
For my loved ones.
Yeah.
between morning and night, I would say. After your team's performance at the weekend and Sunderland losing, he may well be a little bit more sheepish than normal, but we shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see. Peter, let's start with some highlights of the weekend. I'd imagine you have one.
I've got a few. Abdullah Bar, instead of hitting it at the goal,
Yeah.
just squaring it and Sunderland being unable to score. I'm joking.
There's a dig. Lovely air.
I'm joking. of
Lovely
course.
stuff, yeah.
Well, mine kind of. I didn't realise it was on the runner, which I frequently don't, even though it's right in front of me. Big Ange in a suit. We'll come on to
Yeah,
it. We'll
no,
come on to it.
absolutely.
I'll keep my powder
yeah.
dry on that one.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good one. Yeah, it showed you the importance of the game.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
indeed. David, your highlight of the weekend.
I'm going for Johnny Evans.
Yeah, good one.
That was it was a nice feel-good story.
Yeah,
I think.
it's a shame he scored a header, didn't he? And it was
Yeah.
disallowed. That would have been quite good. But then if you're not going to score a goal on your 200th appearance for Manchester United, 8 years I think between
Yeah.
the 199th and the 200th, then produce a Frank de Boer-esque assist. What a goal from Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, excellent. I think Bruno has struggled a little bit early this season, as has every Man United player. Johnny Evans.
Apart from Johnny Evans, I would say.
Yeah, I was going to say Johnny Evans played Johnny Evans played a pass that any midfielder in the Man United squad would dream of this season.
It's the Brighton model, isn't it?
It is the Brighton model. Great out for it. Just get it
All
up
of
there.
Brighton.
Well, they should do more of that. Don't mess around playing the ball around.
What's
in the
Ibra
middle.
doing? Come on, get him back on.
But I mean, the comments he made after the game was saying it was one of the best nights of my life. It was lovely, wasn't it? For a Manchester United player, and more specifically a defender. Harry Maguire was injured, by the way, so don't take the piss. But it was, I thought it was marvellous.
Yeah, he was
Injure himself.
He was genuinely elated, I think, and it was a nice lift considering the misery that United have had to start the season. I think it was a really good feel-good story. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
My highlight of the weekend was just... See, I checked on how Bayern Munich and Harry Kane were getting on. They won 7-0.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. He scored a hat-trick, didn't he? And I just thought, he's having a lovely time.
He
He
is having a
cannot
lovely
believe his luck. So good old Harry. But that leads us neatly on, of course, to the North London derby, where he wasn't involved this time.
No.
And he didn't need to be for Tottenham to get a result. It was 2-2, of course. Eventful North London derby at the Emirates. David, what did you make of the game? I mean, it was good stuff. High-octane stuff. That's what we like.
It was excellent. I think, and Gary Neville made the point on the commentary, it's probably the best game in the Premier League right now in terms of entertainment-wise, and I think that's the case. It is. It's a really good rivalry. It's not one of these plastic rivalries that have cropped up in the in the Sky Premier era.
Yes.
I think there's something really, really good about it. And yeah, it's exactly what you want to see. And I think for the neutral, it must have been amazing to watch.
Do you think it ever was a plastic derby when
What,
Arsenal
this?
moved from Woolwich?
Oh, what do you reckon they should have? What would they?
Spurs were a bit like,
Would it have been
what's this?
Charlton Arsenal? Would that have been the big one back in the day?
I'm not sure of the history. I've kind of jumped into this.
Yeah, you've
historical
dived
pool
into the Thames
without any armbands
and you're
on.
swimming around eating sewage.
Yeah, that seems to be the name of the game. But it was a great game. Obviously, there was lots of incidents in there. Romero had an interesting afternoon, did he not?
He did, and I don't know whether it's the fact that he looks a little bit like our Prime Minister. When he looks kind of a
hello.
bit, when he looks a bit like he's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's the face I get from our Prime Minister quite a lot. Like,
Yeah, that's the default,
dear.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
there's a default kind of like, something terrible's happened. Oh dear.
Yeah.
And it gave me those kind of vibes, to be honest.
I see what you mean. He's had a good start to the season, Romero.
He's been excellent. I think he's not been his rampage himself. I think he's been very calm, very collected. I think it helps having a really good partner, by the way, as well. So,
It does.
Yeah.
He was unlucky for the
Mine
own
calmed
goal.
me down.
Yeah. He's unlucky for the own goal, to be fair. But
Yeah.
then the penalty decision. I mean, Ange wasn't sure.
I think he was still unlucky with the penalty decision.
Do you think-
because
do you think it was a penalty?
Of course it was, and I don't know why there was any debate about it, to be honest. But he was still unlucky. I mean, it was a very, it was a ricochet, wasn't it?
It was a ricochet, yeah, certainly. But yes, so Saka only scored the one goal because that first goal was indeed an own goal, of course. But yeah, that first half, it was what we wanted from the game. Arsenal, we know how good they've been, in the last couple of seasons under Arteta. We know how Spurs have been under Postecoglou, and it was, how would I say, a test. I mean, they've played Manchester United and one or two others already this season, but I suppose for Big Ange, who is the darling of the Premier League at the moment, David, this was such an important game. And it was great to see Spurs implementing that style that they have under him in this game.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I think I've seen this so many times where a team's come into a game hyped up, they played pretty well, and then they come in and they negate from the style that have got them there. And have got them that credit. But they very much played the way that they have this season. They weren't intimidated by going to Arsenal. They weren't intimidated by, Arsenal's ambitions in terms of going for the title. Very, very good account of themselves. Really good character, I thought from all the team as well. So again, really positive. And Maddison said after the game, we've ended this Spursy tag now.
He did.
I think they're really, really keen to do that. I think Ange's keen to, move on from that as well. And they were impressive.
They've popped the balloon with a big dart.
They have repeatedly. I suppose the neutrals and Arsenal fans will decide when they've moved on from the Spurs.
Yeah, we'll decide because we have Twitter to think about.
Yeah, because we're the ones who say it to you. But he has a point, though, Maddison. I mean, Maddison says a lot of stuff. We enjoy him.
I like Maddison a lot.
He's for me, he's just the right side of the line.
Yeah,
if you see what I mean.
Okay.
It just a bit more. He could go into sort of Pratt territory, but I think he's safe though.
I think a couple more years
the
he
moment.
will obviously sashay into Pratt territory.
I
They
think-
always do.
Yeah,
I've said we'll hit Ange in 6 months' time. Just what happens.
No, I think no, because Ange's he knows who he is. He's
Ange's John Fetterman in a suit. You know the American senator who's been forced to wear a suit,
Right.
Even though he just wears basketball shorts.
Okay, I don't know who
And
this
hoodies
guy is.
all the time. Yeah.
All right, he's a school coach driver.
There you go.
He's been forced. He's got his merchant navy tattoos on shore,
Yep.
and he won't take any shit from year sevens.
Yeah, you only see him in a suit for weddings
Yeah,
and court cases,
exactly, yeah.
court appearances. Yeah, indeed. But but Maddison though, I mean, it was a great game, and I think that's it. With when Maddison went to Spurs, certainly our very own Luke Moore was very vocal about how he could become a legend at the club. Luke went as far to say, and he really is grasping it with both hands. I think Postecoglou's style suits him. He can be that sort of maverick, but within a system. And I think that's it. Seldom do you get players nowadays when you think about proper mavericks of the past. If you're going to be bothering the Champions League places in a league like the Premier League,
You can't.
I don't think you can.
No.
I think that's very sad to say. Do you know what I mean? When you say you can't, but the system will always.
Roll up your socks, put shin pads on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Tino.
No, now you're talking. But Maddison, though, he is still playing wonderful football, and he was involved in so much. I mean, that turn, of course, that he did on Saka, which I think he mentioned,
Yeah.
didn't he,
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But also when he robbed Jorginho of the ball.
Yeah.
Again, it just shows you the intelligence of the guy, but also the skill. And two lovely assists, and Saka copied his darts celebration, and you just think to yourself, because Saka and Maddison have had a bit of some lovely banter, shall we say,
Right.
during England duty. There's been a lot of social media videos and so on, so that's probably
Well, obviously, Maddison played. He had a little darts kind of like trio with Barnes and Vardy at Leicester.
Oh, did
That's
he?
been broken up now, so he needs to find new dart guys to play darts with.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, indeed. I mean, maybe I don't think Saka's into darts. Let's be honest. Of all the
Too
players,
short.
is that a thing? Is that?
Well, I'd just be hitting whatever's at the bottom of the dartboard, I imagine. Is that a 19s?
Yeah. What is at the bottom? 19s are down the bottom. Yeah.
His maximum is like 100.
Yeah, just go for the double 19.
Something.
Treble if you can. Yeah, I don't. In Maddison, you'd see him at the darts. There's no way you're seeing Saka
Yeah,
at the darts,
I get
are you?
that.
He would look very sheepish, I think, and that is to his credit. And
I
his
don't think
good
Maddison
nature.
looks like a general. Oh, maybe he does.
Yeah, he loves it though.
Yeah.
I don't think he's maybe getting against some of the chants. But
Ange looks like a man who goes to the darts.
definitely.
Maybe a little Spurs team out, and you can see that. Can't you? Ali Pally, can't you? All dressed up.
Hyun-Min Son looking like a dog who's
Spice
been,
Boys.
Yeah, looking like a dog who's been taken to a swimming pool for the first time. Really wants to get involved and is loving it, but just doesn't know how. But Jorginho did make a mistake for Spurs' second goal, of course, which Maddison pounced on and Son scored. Arteta said after the game on Jorginho, "I love him. Errors are a part of football." That's very Pep Guardiola, John Stones.
They are.
Yeah.
Errors are part of football, and I think Arteta made a few of them.
You reckon?
Yeah, I thought shuttling Gabriel Jesus out to the left,
Mm-hmm.
strange decision to accommodate Eddie Nketiah, who I'm still not convinced about.
Really?
Yeah, not at all.
Okay.
In the slightest. So that was strange. I thought a natural left side player might have been better there.
Mm-hmm.
He managed to dispossess Madison at one point.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of errors,
that could have been costly.
well, he got away with one there.
So yeah, just a few. I don't know. There's a few doubts there from Arteta, I think, from the way that they set up and some of the changes. I don't know what's going on with Smith Rowe as well. I thought that was a game for Smith Rowe.
Uh-huh.
I really did. I don't know what's wrong with his fitness or something like that at the moment. But I thought when that game was very, very end to end, and you could see the influence that Maddison was having in that similar role for Spurs, I thought Smith Rowe could have done something for Arsenal as well. Alas,
I'm slightly concerned Smith Rowe's going to go out on loan, or he's going to move to a club. I know Chelsea were reportedly sniffing around him.
For that level of team, you need to be keeping players like that, surely.
Well, you do, but
you
also
can accommodate fringes.
Well, true, but also where would you go if you were Smith Rowe? You would need to go to a big club as well because he's a decent player. But I'd be worried if he went to another club. Basically, I'd be worried if he went to Chelsea, and that would just see you later.
Yeah.
Where is he now? Oh, he's on loan somewhere.
he stinks of a West Ham, Fulham, Palace type loan for me in January, personally.
Easy on Fulham. Mate.
No.
You know what I mean?
Don't bring them in.
How
Right
about
out
it?
loud.
Yeah, I think he would have a lovely time there, playing up with Raul Jimenez, laying them on for him. My goodness, we need goals. But David Raya started in goal. Talking of how Arteta set up.
That hilarious moment where he did that amazing save. In the middle of his goal, but he was obviously
From Brennan Johnson, I think it was.
I think it was Son actually. I think he lashed it. I tried to lash it on. I think it might not.
Oh, was this where? Yeah, there was a diving save from Brennan Johnson, which got applause from.
Either way, Ramsdale hands up in the air like that, showing everyone that he's happy with the situation.
So you're backing Jamie Carragher on this then?
Well, it was for effect. But
Well,
then Ramsdale does that sort of thing all the time.
He does. Well, Jamie Carragher likened it to when someone loses the Oscar and they start clapping and smiling for the person. And Carragher said, "I was laughing when I saw that. He's absolutely devastated with that. Really,
He's
I don't
DiCaprio.
think he's devastated. I don't think he wants Spurs to score. I did find it funny. One newspaper article said Arteta finally reveals the reason why he's going to play. Why he played David Raya instead of Ramsdale. The quote was something like
Performance.
It was like, it's just the way we wanted to set up, how we wanted to play.
Reveal.
It's just, it's Homer J. Simpson, everybody. Bloody ridiculous. But Peter, you did mention earlier that Big Ange wore a suit for the occasion.
He did, yes.
And I think he's very likeable, Ange. Let's be quite clear about that. I know Celtic fans are saying, "Oh, we knew about him." Yeah, fine. He's in the Premier League now, so
That's your Celtic fan voice. It's very enjoyable.
That's a lot of them sound like that.
Yeah.
But with Ange at Spurs, he did that interview with Gary Lineker recently on the BBC. A very interesting story we've talked about and so on. David, you're a man who likes to pour cold water on things. Can you do that with Ange Postecoglou? Or do you think he's the real deal?
I think he's the real deal. I think he's a very nice man.
Mm-hmm.
Universally liked, as you said. It's very hard to dislike him. Like, really.
Find his blog. There's always a blog.
We're going to have to find something.
Find his Tumblr blog from the 90s. I want to know what he really thinks about stuff, yeah?
Is he on Twitter? Let's find some tweets from 2010.
Come on.
When's the tide going to turn?
Fire it
That's
up.
The thing. When
Fire
is
up.
it?
I just don't think it is. I think because he's come to this...
It has to. We can't have nice things, Marcus.
That's what you said about Camilla Cabello. Look what she was posting on there.
I'd like to keep those comments to myself. But I think that Ange, because he's come to it later in life,
Right.
which is obviously what we talked to, I think he's just totally relaxed in who he is, which is quite... he's not trying to prove anything to everybody.
You don't see that very often in football, do you?
I think that's what it is.
Everyone's got massive amounts of ego, massive amounts of front, and they're just trying to sort of portray a particular character. And I think us Brits, certainly in the English Premier League, aren't amazing actors. So you see your Frank Lampards and people like that, and you sort of go, I'm not buying any of this, mate. I think you are absolutely kicking your legs as quick as they'll go underneath the surface.
Yeah, well, he made that comment, didn't he, that he was probably the last man standing or the last candidate standing for the Celtic job and then the Spurs job and so on. And you think to yourself, is that the way to go forward? You know, just basically
go for the worst candidate.
Yeah,
in your mind.
Although Spurs did that with Stellini, didn't they?
Yeah,
and I suppose that. Yeah, okay. Anyway, but you know, good game as we say, and it leaves Arsenal and Spurs 4th and 5th in the table, 4 points off Manchester City. I love the fact that Manchester City just won 6 out of 6. It's just sort of gone under the radar. I was like, yeah, fine. Yeah. Liverpool are second as well. They've won 5 out of 6. It seems to be sort of reverted to type, but there we are. Peter, one side that could bother the top of the table, you know, if they carry on like this, is Newcastle United. They beat Sheffield United 8-0.
Yeah, I think after a performance like that, there are certain players playing on that match that should hang their heads. I'm, of course, talking about Nick Pope, Livramento, Harvey Barnes. None of them got on the score sheet because every other fucker did.
Oh, my goodness. 8 different scores. The first time the same team has scored with 8 different scorers in the Premier League. I mean, surely that's just not the Premier League. Surely that must be
everything
much wider than that. How many other leagues and other, you know, eras in top flight English football history? I don't know. How many times did Sean Bean say bastard when he watched that game? At least 8.
He would have been thrown out of the rumpus room. Get out! You got to keep shouting bastard.
Yeah, I honestly, when the 7th went in, I just thought it was in the last minute, and I was like, 73 minutes, it's on.
It's on. I thought that
no one has ever reached 10. This is happening.
I don't know what it is about teams that really annoys me when they're absolutely humping someone like 7-0, that they would suddenly sort of go, right, I'm going to take the foot off the gas. This is getting embarrassing. I'm not going to celebrate any of the goals and stuff. But then, like, Bruno Guimaraes got kind of cajoled into celebrating his goal.
He wasn't
going to do anything.
Almiron loved it. Isak loved it.
They did the ball baby, kiss the badge celebration and stuff. Like, he had to be cajoled into a celebration. But it was just like, go for the fucking 10. Give us 10.
I love it. You're just never happy, are you?
No, God, no.
I love it how you took your foot off the gas at 7.
Yeah, but it was.
How many people had 3 or 4?
It was like, we're all professional players. I think if Sheffield United had started doing a bit more kicking, I think Newcastle might have been cajoling into absolutely putting them to the mega sword, the one you see in Final Fantasy, that big, huge one.
I think it's on the Sheffield United blade. It's on the badge.
But it's like it was really strange, and I think we were talking on the WhatsApp group, like what makes a match reach the running order, climb up the running order.
Higher than a very entertaining and action-packed
if they won
North London derby.
If they won 4-0, nothing. That's not getting on the runner for me. 5-0.
Depends how many, when the goals were scored.
Yes. Yeah.
If they're all in a 10-minute period.
Yeah.
Remember those days, Spurs?
If you're 2-0 up until like the 80th minute and they're all scored in the last minute,
yeah.
I think that doesn't make the running order.
6-0 heads are turning.
I think it's 6. I think 6-0. The
7-0. We've got a deal.
The Marcus Speller Football Ramble running order. Ink starts to dry at that point.
What I loved after the game, Paul Heckingbottom, who's had a terrible time, he said after the game, "No, I understand the spirit that this is intended," but he literally said,
he just went 3 minutes.
He said, "These results are going to come. We expect that." Not those results.
No, that's
not those results. Come on, Paul.
Positive mental attitude.
Yeah,
Paul.
exactly.
Not at home as well.
Dearie me.
You sack him after that? No, genuinely, do you actually? Is it that bad? He has to go.
Not for Sheffield United, I suppose. I mean, they've been.
I don't know. What do you reckon, David?
Well, it was a debate a few years ago. Can you remember when I think it was Leicester who beat Southampton, and there was a big debate about whether Hasenhüttl should stay.
Right? Yeah. Is that a number that needs to?
And I think Southampton said, "Oh, look, there's a long-term vision.
We're not going to get beat 9-0 again."
Exactly.
Put it in a clause in their contract. If you get beaten 8-0
again,
you're done.
I could see it at the time. The reason Southampton with Hasenhüttl, I really do. But Heckenbottom's not going to do anything.
No,
I think.
Well, he said, hasn't he, that there's always rumours about me being sacked. Da. And I think it's probably because you look at that side, you look at what they're doing, and it's. Mind you, that we said the other week, didn't we, that battling performances against Manchester City and one or two others, But then when that happens, it's very difficult to come back from that.
It was like. Have you ever done like secret cinema, where everyone goes into like a room as punters, and then suddenly there'll be a plant, and the plant will start acting and doing like acting, and he'll be Doc Brown out of fucking Back to the Future or something.
Yeah.
It was a little bit like that in the back of Sheffield United. They were like, one of us is a footballer, but we don't know which one. At some point, someone's going to start playing some football. Yeah. But it was a real shame. And on the Newcastle side, like you do sort of go, their best result has been against a really poor, confused, terrible Villa side in the first game of the season. This one, you still don't know whether Newcastle are in form or not. Because Sheffield United were that poor.
True, but it's still a Premier League side they're playing. As I say, Manchester City went there and struggled to get the win. I mean, I think if you win 8-0, they love beating Sheffield into sides 8-0, don't they? Sheffield Wednesday was a while ago, but I think it's huge for the confidence. Off the back of a good result in the San Siro. You go and do
Man
that.
City on Wednesday.
I think, in the cup, of course. But maybe that was it. Maybe because at the San Siro they had to be so defensive-minded. They've not been used to that so much this season. It was like, right, lads, let's have it. But it was absolutely stunning. I found it funny that Sheffield United fans looked absolutely furious watching on Match of the Day when the second one went in. And you're sitting there going, oh, lads.
You're about to get furious.
I hope you didn't get that mad for every other goal because you'd have...
Just like Fast and the Furious, sir. There's
Maybe
8 of them.
Maybe they were just so knackered at the end. I mean, that Sheffield United fan was spotted reading a book at 7-0.
That's ridiculous. Why are you reading the book at the football game?
I heard it was Andy Brassell's excellent book about.
Well, David, I think probably because you paid your ticket, so you might as well stay just in case something happens.
That's a ban from the club for me.
I like it.
I'm not even kidding.
I like book. What do you do at half time? Watch some kids doing five-a-side.
He's genuinely not kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, look at
proper football man, David Cartlidge. I'm not having this.
I am looking at him in the eye. Is that up there with running on the pitch for you?
It's worse.
All right.
He's running on the pitch with a bit of passion.
We've spoken about this before, but when I was at Fulham, I did see a man in a advent calendar.
I enjoyed that advent calendar. I'd saved that up for that occasion.
Where do you stand on that, David?
No, that's not the same.
Proper football man, David.
That's not the same, is
it? The Victoria Sponges at the ground of the Fulham way, so
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's nothing to do with not having passion for the game, is it?
Just go home.
Just go home.
Yeah, just honestly, just go home.
Jump up and down in your seat.
Maybe she was meeting someone after, and they're like, I'm going to be about an hour and a half.
Maybe she was off to a book club and she hadn't done read the rest of the book.
You see, David, you never thought about that, had you?
Yeah. I was incensed, honestly. I was more angry at that than I was the defending. Like that's where I'm at with that.
No wonder.
Maybe she's reading the rules of the game. Can we just leave? Can we stop the game?
Yeah. How can we do this? Anthony Gordon should have been given a pen.
Let's have that one down.
That was outrageous.
Yeah.
Did the referee just think, I can see the way they don't need a helping hand?
It's true, but I do think Anthony Gordon brings a certain... Do you have a player... Have you ever had a player at Fulham or Sunderland that it doesn't matter how well they perform, you just can't stand the sight of them?
No,
Gordon, I just dislike with a passion, and I don't know why.
I know what you mean. I don't know. I think he's winning people. I think in the Euro under-21s, I think, he's very good, and he, some of the stuff on social media from chatting away. I know what you mean. I think that he does have that sort of
he just runs
slight
the wrong way,
shithousy quality.
But I think Newcastle has been doing that all season.
But I think he's knuckling down and playing some good stuff though.
Yeah,
if you don't like him, think about Everton. I know they won on the weekend, but that is a lovely old move for Gordon, isn't it? Flipping Nora.
It is,
It's nice to see him scoring though, Peter. You would agree.
It is nice to see him scoring. That was something that he's not really had any rest, has he? Since the big tournament in the summer, he's just
he was meant to be rested
a week off. That's just normal football. That you get a week off.
He's thinking, I'll after the game at the San Siro, I'll sit on the bench. Poor old Harvey Barnes was injured after about 12 minutes, wasn't he? Blimey, Kieran Trippier had a good afternoon. I love seeing old Trips whipping those balls in.
He was brilliant against Milan. He's brilliant against. He's just a cut above everyone else. Really
second best right back in England. Behind Kyle Walker. It's just so unfair on him. Any other time in history, he'd be like, we'd all be talking about it. There we are. That's the way it goes. At full time in the game, Leicester City tweeted, "Phew."
Yes.
as in P-H-E-W.
Yeah,
Not, that was only a few goals.
What was the Ipswich Man United one back in the 90s?
That was 9-0.
Was that 9-0 as well? Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the ceiling at the moment in the Premier League, which we thought Newcastle were going to punch through. It was a good weekend for the aforementioned Leicester City there. They kept their 9-0 record, of course. They beat Bristol City 1-0 to make it 7 wins from 8 to stay top of the Championship. Jamie Vardy scored the only goal from the penalty spot, and then he ran the length of the pitch to celebrate in front of the Bristol City fans. David, now this is in your wheelhouse, surely.
Absolute class act. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Class
A
act.
brilliant man, Jamie Vardy.
Has Jamie Vardy ever been described, even by someone from his own family, as a brilliant man?
He's
a brilliant
He's
man.
great. Get him back in the Prem.
Well, the way they're going.
Yeah.
With a rejuvenated Harry Winks among them, they could well be. My goodness. Oh, by the way, before we go to a break, while we've mentioned the Championship, did you see that Daniel Farke touch on the dugout when the ball? If you haven't
I
seen
watched
this,
that more than the 8-0.
Yeah.
it's mesmerising.
He cannot keep it all inside. He
man.
tries to be, and he's got every
it.
right
Yes.
to do a fucking forward roll if he wants to. Because my God, that was good.
How high has the ball gone up in the air? By the way,
He's
'Cause
had a lot of time to see it. To be
Yeah.
fair, it's not he's just come to him.
he's a ponderer. He's thinking, should I? Shouldn't I? You're damn right, I'm going to do that. Whoop, just takes it down. And then the crowd behind him are absolutely loving it. And as you say, he kind of tries to play it cool, and then that grin and a little kind of, yes. He's obviously worked on the first touch topic.
He has. Right,
Yeah.
the first topic.
My goodness. All right, everybody, let's have a quick break.
And that's why Bayern Munich have paid £100 million for him, even when he's 30 years of age. He's a special player. He's a world-class player. But I've just got to go for Thierry.
Welcome bace to the Football Ramble, everybody. Thanks to Pace Randolph for choosing today's clip. You can choose the clip. For
Was that
next
his
Monday's
chair?
show. I think so.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he might have done a little botty pop.
Right, okay.
But just sign up for the Football Ramble Patreon using the link in the show description.
I'm just glad he's not spitting.
Yeah, I think, yeah. We've
I
moved
think
on
that-
from that,
yeah.
as he did very quickly in his car. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 1. Ollie Watkins' first Premier League goal of the season. Pete Donaldson condemned Chelsea to yet another poor result. Chelsea are currently 14th, just 4 points off the relegation zone.
A little wink for you there, Marcus. It's very early in the season, and I did genuinely say, I don't know why. I just think you either like pee or get off the pot with predictions, don't you? And I thought Chelsea were going to do very well this season.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people did with Mauricio Pochettino going there, thinking he'll sort it out. There's still time.
There is still time.
Although, will there be time for Pochettino? I don't know. But David, it was another good win for Aston Villa.
Yep.
They've had a sort of, well, you'd say they had a good start to the season. Crying out loud, they had 12 points. They won 4 out of 6. They're in sixth position. They didn't have to do that much though to beat Chelsea.
No, I don't think so. They just had to be solid.
Yeah, it was a great finish from Watkins. To take nothing away from that.
Yeah, and he's got that about him as well. I'm a really big fan of Watkins, and Villa were impressive yet again. They're just a solid, really solid side now. Good side, dangerous side, and nobody wants to play.
I still can't believe they lost in Europe.
Yeah.
That was strange. I think that's just a case
The
of
occasion, wasn't it, really?
the occasion, the players adapting to that. Obviously, Emery's got his European experience, but I think it'll eventually come. I think that they're too good to just completely fall out of that. But yeah, really impressive. And it's funny, I was at Chelsea last season when Villa beat them 2-0, and that was under Potter. I think they dropped to 11th in that game.
Were you policing the crowd?
Yeah, I was just checking. Stop that.
Get that man out. Oh, it's a program.
Is that
It's a program.
yeah, it's fine.
It's a program.
It's a leaflet. It's fine.
It's an A to Z of London. There's a lot of them in here.
And the atmosphere was really, really toxic that day under Potter. Now, I don't think it's quite there yet with Pochettino, but you should, if you're a Chelsea fan, and they obviously are, they should be very, very concerned, I think. I think hopes weren't that high. It was going to take some time, but it is very, very bad. I think they're worse than people thought.
Would you say that the atmosphere was sour at Chelsea, Peter?
Yeah. How's this going to tee you up for something
Well, I'm
delicious?
just saying that
Right.
Poch's lemons aren't working yet, it would seem. According to an article in The Guardian recently, Mauricio Pochettino keeps a bowl of lemons in his office to absorb negative energy. Now, I think this was mentioned before somewhere. This
Right.
rings a bell. And And he seems to have got away with this scot-free until now, ladies and gentlemen, because this is Felix Magath rubbing cheese on legs territory for me. So, yes, Poch reckons that... So he bowl of lemons in the office. Poch reckons that the lemons started to work after 2 years at Tottenham. So, he's got a bit of pedigree here.
I don't think the lemons are real at Chelsea.
Really?
I think it's those, the wooden ones what you have when you go around IKEA and it's in a bowl. They're not real lemons. That's why it's not
lemons.
Well, Pochettino said, give time to the lemons.
Give time to the lemons.
Yeah. But, right. I'm not making any of this up, by the way. If he's having us on, he's done us a kipper. Fair play to him. But these are the quotes from the article. So give time to the lemons. They need a long time. They are not magic. That's the only moment of clarity in this whole thing. But more than ever, I still believe in them. I have yellow ones, green ones, different types. I don't want to lie. There is a big box of lemons. I wouldn't want you to lie to us, Poch. I always thought the yellow lemons worked much better than the green, but now I believe in any colour. If I could get a blue lemon, it would be even better. Now, when it was put to Poch that a green lemon is probably just a lime, he said, a lime is not a lemon. It is a brother, maybe with a different mother or different father.
Is he? Remember when Boris Johnson?
I didn't see this coming.
Boris Johnson tried to game the Brexit bus, EU leaving SEO on Google and started talking about how he paints London buses, red London buses.
Yeah, all that
out of wine crates. Yeah, do you not think that he's going to be? Something's coming out about him and lemons.
I understand, but Pochettino...
He's had a lemon party.
But Pochettino's team play on television, right?
Yeah.
You guys, no one's Googling how did Chelsea get on this weekend, and he's hiding it among this nonsense. This is mad.
Yeah. It reminded me.
If you were a club owner,
right,
and he
I'd
comes
get him
out with
loads of lemons. I'd find a blue lemon.
Worried.
Yeah,
there's certain managers who could say that, and people think, "My God, they've lost the plot." Because it's Pochettino, everyone's like, "Oh, it's just Poch."
Yeah,
2 years it took at Spurs. Are you just trying to buy time at Chelsea now? You're not going to get it.
Yeah,
it would have been better on the team photo. Arsenal had a picture of got the picture taken with the dog. It was just a bowl of lemons in between Pochettino's legs.
I have no idea.
Nash song.
But yeah,
it reminded me of this, Marcus.
One time I had a Jack and Coke that had a lime in it, and I saw that the lime was floating. That's good news, man. Next time I'm on a boat and it capsizes, I will reach for a lime. I'll be water skiing without a life preserver on. People will say, "What the hell?" And I'll pull out a lime. And a lemon, too. I'm saved by the buoyancy of citrus.
Having a bit of Mitch Hedberg
Little bit of Mitch Hedberg there, I thought I'd put in there. Saved by the buoyancy of citrus.
Is that?
I hope Chelsea will be saved by the buoyancy of citrus.
If Pochettino did a Mitch Hedberg impression at the end of that, all would be forgiven. That would have been a lovely old job. Oh, dearie me. But yeah, they're struggling, though. They are struggling. But Aston Villa are up to 6th, so well done them.
He's wearing a nice wool cardigan suit, though, I would say.
Yeah.
I do like Poch's sort of autumn, skinny sort of Halloween latte in one hand and woolen double-breasted suit.
Enjoy that.
I like it.
Oh, before we move on, Gusto sent off in the 58th minute. Correctly so, David?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
That's all we needed.
Yeah.
Just wanted to do
he's
a bit of
done
admin there to be. Yeah.
Saved by the buoyancy of good refereeing.
By the way, talking of yellow things, of course, Nicholas Jackson been banned for getting 5 yellow cards in just 6 games. All of them been for dissent. So again, it's all over the place at Chelsea. So there we are. Staying in West London, everybody. Brentford 1, Everton 3. I got to be honest, David, I didn't see that coming.
No, neither do I. Neither did I. I think Brentford missing some key players. I think they're really feeling it. I honestly,
for a while as well, aren't they? These players.
I genuinely thought Rico Henry being lost for the season is as big as them losing Tony. He has been that consistent, that important for them over a number of years. I think Henry, Pinnock, Tony have kind of been, the spine of that team. If you look, so it's
a huge loss. Yeah.
Look, they're a very well coached side. I like Thomas Frank, but they genuinely might be in a little bit of trouble.
Do you know what? As soon as you said that, I thought you're tipping them for a relegation.
No, I'm not tipping. No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
I think they're going to suffer. I think they're going to really suffer a bit until I know Tony's back in training now after the ban's allowed him to train, so he'll come back, and they really need him to start firing straight away.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they've played some good stuff this season, but they've won 1 in 6.
Yeah,
which of course is against Fulham.
I think they played Spurs, didn't
they? They did. They were quite unlucky.
They were quite unlucky against Spurs.
They haven't been terrible. I just think without Tony, they realise obviously they haven't got that option to win games narrowly. Yep. So I think and Frank has a penchant for doing this. Sometimes regress a little bit, sometimes a little bit overly defensive. They're not creating much. I think they play a lot too much sideways, and I think that's been a big problem for them.
Yeah, but then I suppose I was mentioning this about Brighton earlier on in the season is maybe because they've overachieved so much, we expect bigger things of them. The fact is, it's a shoestring budget. You know what they've done is utterly remarkable at Brentford. You know, it's incredible. So therefore, sometimes we do well to remember that, you know, in these kind of times, you know. So it's still early days, of course. But Everton, though, their first win of the season,
they looked absolutely famished for a result on this. They were first to every ball. They were brilliant.
Yeah, they were. I mean, the situation we've all talked about it, Everton being pretty piss poor. Dyche said after the game, we're the only ones who can change the story of Everton. Well, true. But look at what's happening in the in the upper echelons of the club. I mean, they're in the middle of a takeover. Apparently,
a funny takeover.
Well, and that's you're just scratching the surface of it there. I mean, apparently a deal has been agreed reportedly to 777 Partners to buy Moshiri's 94% stake in the club.
A company that's been accused of fraud, kidnapping, extortion, predatory lending, and racketeering.
But why would you think they may fail the Premier League's fit and proper person?
Well,
test?
I would say that
what
some owners execute children at the Ethiopian border, and then there's a bit of a drop off before a man who's convicted for drug trafficking. So like, there's kind of
Premier League won't worry about any of that.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Here's your security pass. Here's the
have
code
to
for
do?
the printer.
What do you have to do to fail that test?
No, exactly. I don't know, David. What do we have to do?
Well, I really
Read a
don't
book
know.
at a game,
Yeah.
I would say.
But there's talk that they could actually liquidity will be a problem with this new setup. But there's talk that they are technically disincentivized to make any improvements commercially because they will owe more money to Moshiri.
Yeah.
So it's just a perfect situation.
Honestly,
horrific.
They've already given Everton a £20 million loan to help prevent administration in the short term. 777
Just don't give them transfer funds because Everton don't spend money very well.
No,
so
just
don't give them money, and it might be all right.
Yeah. So I mean, but there is genuine concern that it might fail the Premier League test, of course. But if they do, I mean, this is like a proper deal with the devil, is it not? You know, but you need the money because if they don't get this deal, Everton will probably be forced to sell some of their big players, which would be a nightmare. All about the new stadium and so on and so forth. It is. You know, is there a Saudi Arabian businessman who can save the day?
Well, Moshiri's obviously I think he's agreeing to take the money over like 10 years or 15 years or something. So it's like, why? I mean, I guess why there aren't any buyers for Everton is that they've just got so much debt with the new stadium, so it's not quite as an attractive thing. But it's Everton.
It's an absolute shit show. It
one of the
really
most
is.
storied clubs in our history.
Yeah, do you think the Saudis look at that go, yeah, that's not sports washing we're going to get into? I mean, let's be honest, because Sheffield United get away scot-free with this, by the way. You know, I know they might not be the PIF posse who own them, but that was a Saudi Arabian derby between Newcastle and Sheffield United. And as you say, sports washing doesn't always work.
No.
With certain teams. Yeah,
that's going to need a heavy wash. That what happened that night?
It's going to need a hot wash.
It's going to need a hot wash, a hot spots wash.
But Everton, though, it was a good win, and it was good to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin scoring, David.
Yeah, it's good to see him back. I think you do wonder if he's just perennially crocked and you can only get, for the rest of his career, a guy who you can maybe get 15, 20 games out, if that. You have to be really careful and moderate his usage, I think, going forward in his career. Just being quite young still, really, in a way. But yeah, and they've got Beto now as well. It'll be interesting to see if Dyche does actually, especially in home games, decide to go 2 up front. Because I was looking. So goals in the Premier League since the start of May. Everton have scored 1 goal at home, away 13.
Yeah, well, that's very interesting, isn't it?
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere at Goodison Park, understandably, because it's just same old. So maybe
a bit frosty.
You need a travelling fortress. They need to turn their away games, something like that. But a great win though. There's no two ways about that. And they climb up the table and they're not in the relegation zone. They got 4 points on the board, Peter. They're just 1 point behind Chelsea.
They are.
There you go.
Chelsea, I think that watermark is getting lower and lower. As
Is that
we
what
speak.
The
ducks are dying.
Well, I mean, it's not that bad a season when you think about it. They won the European Champions League not that long ago. So yeah, there we are. Gentlemen, let us end today's Premier League chat with Luton 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers won. Luton all the way down in 18th, of course. They get their first point of the season against 10-man Wolves. It was a lovely goal from Neto, we should say, for Wolves. Did enjoy that one. The penalty decision, though. Gary O'Neill wasn't happy. He said, if that's a penalty, we're in a bad place with the rules. He did say, I forgive the referee, before saying, hopefully the referees can improve the level they are at.
Let him have it.
Let
him have it.
That was one of those ones, isn't it, where you just think, oh, come on.
Let him have it.
Yeah, they're having
it's
a nice time.
It's going to be a rough old season.
How has he given that as a penalty?
We are in a bad place with the rules.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the bottom line of it, I think. So that's why it happens.
I just... Where do you go with a decision like that? Like, it's just clearly not a penalty.
Yeah, it was so obvious. But you're just aghast now at some of this, because it's a far too regular occurrence now, I think, in the Premier League, everywhere now, these decisions, unfortunately. And there'll be another one next week, and then that'll take all the headlines. Or maybe not. Maybe people stop actually putting in the headlines because it's just the norm now.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I just think it's very, very difficult to justify that. As you know, it's like, I think if referees came out and maybe they're not going to admit that they're wrong, of course. It's very harsh on Wolves. You know, obviously they had that one at Old Trafford. I mean, Gary O'Neill looks like he's on the edge of violence with regards to. That's my thoughts. That's not. I'm projecting that on poor old Gary there. But Wolves themselves, and they're up against it this season. They're 16th. They've got 4 points so far this season. These decisions matter, and this whole kind of they balanced themselves out across the season. Yeah, but they would have got 3 points probably had they not have had that stinking decision against them. Of course,
and I mean the goal that Luton conceded was. I mean, you can't be doing that in the Premier League. You just waltz through everybody. It was just unnecessarily easy, wasn't it?
It was quite an enjoyable waltz. I did find it quite funny when, obviously, he said, O'Neill said, I forgive the referee. And it is important, though. We know we hammer referees, but, you can't be too over the top. On Twitter, we were reminded, of course, Jermaine Genius, he of the BBC, he did a piece to camera once where he was saying, we need to be better at all levels, not surrounding the refs and so on. And then at 3:15 on Saturday, complete shithouse of a referee. They're all ruining the game. There we are. You see, everyone has got a historical tweet in there or two.
Certainly have.
Not as recent as that one.
Watching you, Ange. You're next, Ange.
Oh dear, Pete, did you enjoy? This is a bit of you. That obviously much has been said about Luton's home ground. Being in the middle of someone's lounge, of course. That's where they play. Yeah. Xbox put free FIFA codes in the back of the gardens of the houses behind Luton's home ground. They attached the codes to hanging laundry.
Yeah, when you...
That's a lovely old job.
If you've never kind of redeemed an Xbox Live code or whatever it's called now, it's like just a long string of figures and letters, and so they just hung 12 T-shirts on a line in the backyard of one of the houses adjoining Luton with all of the letters. It would have taken somebody a little bit of time to sort of figure out that was a free FIFA code. It's great stuff.
Yeah, enjoy it. Did you
Sorry,
claim
not
it?
FIFA. I didn't claim it. I've not played it. It's
not FIFA anymore, is it? It's
EAFC.
FC,
But people just call it FIFA still.
Yeah, of course they do,
I think this year, apparently, talking to Jordan, we do a video game podcast called VGC, which is very good. Jordan from the show, he's basically trying to go through the whole game to try and find if there's any remnants of the word FIFA around. Because this whole season, they've spent a whole year just clearing out every mention of FIFA and doing all the things that they couldn't do when FIFA were obviously licensing the name.
Have they got Salt Bay in the game now?
Yeah, it's maybe
He
to
infiltrated
deal with
FIFA.
Nike, I think. Yeah,
Oh,
did
okay.
he? Yeah, maybe. That would be a fuck you.
If you win the cup, it comes out.
Bothers you for a bit. He's outside your house. But apparently, John said that on the little camera that the cameramen have, if you sort of do free cam and look at what they're seeing, it's a freeze frame of Rooney doing that bicycle kick.
Oh yeah.
And he's thinking, I wonder if that's still there. He says it's been changed to something else because that was kind of a FIFA picture or emblem. I don't know.
I see. Have you searched X for any mention of the word Twitter?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't done that.
The Musketeers airtight.
Yeah,
as we know. So there we are, everybody. What a weekend of
full
of Premier League action. As I say, though, when all said and done, Man City atop, and Liverpool look like they could be back at the races this season. So
that's the other league.
That's who cares
That's
about
X.
that one?
That's the Premier League X.
We're more involved in
That's those two duking it out.
It is, yeah. Sod that. It's all about third place.
It is.
There we are, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. Spoken like a true modern Newcastle United fan. Thank you very much for listening to the Football Ramble, part of the Acast Creator Network. We are back on Wednesday, of course. Follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Football Ramble. And don't forget to subscribe on your podcast app. Thank you very much, Peter.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. See you on Wednesday.
Cheers for watching another fantastic clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel, which means you will not miss a single upload.